welcome back to the CB750 Build project. I think this is video 3 of that project. So, basically I'm going to just be doing the same thing. Only change is I'm going to cover some of the stuff that I didn't know at the time. So if there's new information that I've gotten since then, I might jump in and tell old me that he's being stupid. I also might have to cut for puppies. Who knows? But, yeah, let's get into it. Okay. Chopper update for today. So, the new bits and parts have come in. I am still waiting on gaskets. But, so here's where we're at right now. So, in here, this just came in. This guy is the... it's a thrust washer. This little gear right here is part of the starter thing. So this is the reduction gear that goes from the starter, reduction gear, that thrust washer, and then, so here's the problem I'm currently having. So, on this thing, this was what was on here. This used to sit right on this little guy. And you'll see that this shaft is kind of like cone-shaped. So this thing just kind of was pressed onto it, and it's kind of rough. You can kind of see here, it looks like they tried to at one point put a hex nut on there with no washer. It's kind of rough. So I'm replacing it with the one I just got in the mail. The one I got in the mail is here. I'm not going to take it apart because I did that earlier, and it's a huge pain in the butt to unfuck. But, so this little guy and this little gear on the outside is basically this exact same thing. It's just a more gooder one. So this one, you'll see, can spin in one direction, but then when I try and spin it in the other direction, it turns the whole gear. That's how it's got this little plate in here that is the clutch. So there's like little ball bearing-ish type things, or I guess cone bearings, or cylinder bearings rather. So it goes, but here's the problem. So this, I don't think is supposed to be there. I think this is part of whatever the guy did to make it kickstart only, because he's an idiot. So, the problem is, when I try and put this little guy on here, he doesn't slide back far enough. So, I can't get it to engage with literally anything. So, I think I need to get that off of there. But I have no idea how to do that. So, I'm going to get on and do my Google Kung Fu and figure out if I can figure out how that spacer, because it's a spacer, basically, can come off. So that I can actually get my starter on there so that everything will work the way it's supposed to. Because otherwise, this works okay. But none of that's any good at all if I can't get that starter clutch on. So, I'm off to figure out how to do that. Okay, so I have zero patience, and that thing was pissing me off. So, with the old, I used a Dremel tool, and I used a flat disc to get it just barely through. You can see like paper thin, so I didn't want to damage the internal little bit. But I got it off. That sucker was on there. I had to cut it through like this and then hit the corners with a hammer to even break them loose on the corners. Like, that sucker was wedged. So, but it's off now. So, what that means is, ta-da! Now I have my new starter gear and replaced my stator. And everything should, so like this way, it won't turn. This way, if I can get it to spin. Oh, I've got it hooked up, that's why. So, I have the power hooked up right now, and I've got it turned on. So, in theory, suck it. Yes, so it works. And that means that once I get my gaskets, I can put all my gaskets and stuff back on, and then I should be able to try and fire this sucker with the new prism gas tank. I have to come up with a solution for this. Right now, I've got this, and that works, but the problem is I need it to turn 90 degrees and go that way in order for it to actually work, because until I do that, I can't really hook up fuel to anything. So I need a 90-degree elbow soon. But that's it. Got the starter working, and that's going to save my leg a lot of pain. Okay, quick note on this piece that I just showed. So I think that was intentional. I've since gone back to look and figure out if there's a reason why anybody would actually take the starter clutch off and just replace it with that spacer that was in there. And I can't find anything. I've seen that other people have done it, and then they plug up the starter, but I can't find the why for it. Maybe it has to do with they just wanted it to be kickstart because of cool factor or whatever, but that's the only thing I can find, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why take away functionality when you could just leave it there and just not use it? I don't know. We'll see. All right, quick video because it's not particularly interesting. My gaskets came in, so I have all these. We got engine gaskets and all this other stuff. I'm not going to use all of them, but I decided to order the entire engine rebuild gasket kit because if one of these pops later, I would rather get it on the road quickly rather than have to wait for however long it takes for these things to come in. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got some O-rings that I'm going to swap out. I think it came with the Tappet cover O-rings. So I'm going to, I think, pull those out, replace the O-rings on those because the ones I have are pretty chewed up. And then reseal the motor and do a quick oil change / just add oil because it's already out. Yeah, and then we'll see where we go from there. But off to gaskets. All right, that's going to do it for video number 3. Next time, though, is going to be a little bit more interesting. I'm going to do a little bit of a sneak peek right about now. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, and as always, like, subscribe, and thanks for being here.